Hey guys, today I am back with another Sims 4 speed build. I actually started this build like 2 months ago when I first got the Tiny Living stuff pack, and then I have taken a really long break from The Sims just so I could focus on my last semester of school. But now that I am socially isolating, I decided this would be a really good time to finish this build. So this is a tiny home for vampires. As you guys know, I am just absolutely obsessed with vampires. I love the Vampire Diaries, and I also really love playing with vampires on The Sims. I really like how they kind of hash them out, and they're really fun to play with. So I kind of had this idea. I always come up with little like backstories for the builds and like the people that would live in them whenever I build them. This would be this like hidden tiny house for the vampires. So as you can see as I'm building this, hopefully I made this kind of look like a mausoleum that you would find in a cemetery. So it's disguised as this mausoleum, and then later on I actually add a graveyard onto the property as well. So I basically wanted this to be like it's a cemetery, and then the vampires are like hiding out in the little mausoleum. So no one's really bothering them. They can kind of like be away from watchful eyes. Kind of had the idea that it would maybe be for like newbie vampires, so this can comfortably house 2 vampires. I did throw some extra like old wooden coffins in the back of the mausoleum because I didn't think that would be like too suspicious for some like extra coffins to be sitting around a graveyard. So you could technically sleep 4, but there's only room for 2 to sleep inside of the house, and I use the term house very loosely. This is by no means meant to be a normal house whatsoever. Like if someone actually walks in, they're gonna be like, what is going on here? But from the outside, you cannot tell that 2 vampires live inside this house, and there's like plenty of skill building activities for them to do. It's very difficult to be a vampire in The Sims if you don't have like the vampire lore skill and that sort of thing, and you can like increase your vampire skills by sparring with other vampires as well. All of that fun stuff. So I kind of thought this would be like a place where 2 new vampires hide. They can't really go out in the sun, so they're going to be very suspicious to other people if they interact with them, so they just kind of hide here with each other, build their skills, work their way up to being a master vampire. They can get the thick-skinned vampire perks. They can actually go outside and eventually integrate themselves into society. I wanted to make this build like very creepy, very Victorian. I'm going to say Victorian like a billion times on this voiceover. I already know it. I love the stuff that comes with the Vampires game pack. I think it's just so cool and creepy. You can build like all these like haunted house looking things, and it's just, I'm so obsessed with it because I mean I love all things like vampire and all of that, like the Victorian aesthetic and the good Victorian. Once again, I love how the exterior of this turned out. It did take me like a very long time because I wanted it to be perfect. I couldn't quite figure out like what to add to the front of it. I think I ended up going with some gargoyles because there's not really any like religious symbolism in the game, obviously, because they would not be able to do that or without making people angry at least. So I just put gargoyles at the top, even though it would obviously be like a Virgin Mary statue or whatever if it was an actual mausoleum. I wanted to be like creepy, overgrown, abandoned. It's very not welcoming. So like maybe it's like the place where the neighborhood kids would be like, oh yeah, why don't we like sneak in here as a dare? But like people are just like walking through this cemetery as like an afternoon activity, which I don't know if that's like a thing that people do in your town. But in my hometown, there's just like one cemetery that's like historic and very beautiful, and people literally just like go there to walk around. Like it's like a park, but it's also a cemetery. But it's actually super gorgeous and like not creepy at all. Like very well maintained. It's like all these flowers and trees and plants. But this is not that type of cemetery. Like no one's going here to take family pictures, which people do at one cemetery in Cincinnati. So yeah, I always thought that was kind of weird to do that, but it's definitely not going to happen in this one. I did so much of food. I was like sort of referencing pictures on Pinterest as I was doing this because I don't like exactly know what a mausoleum is supposed to look like, but I didn't have like this specific one, so I don't know if I'm like breaking any mausoleum codes, if there's anything that they're like actually supposed to be or have, but like whatever. Here's the gargoyles, and that's pretty much it for the exterior. I'm moving on to the interior. So this is a tier 2 tiny home, so you get some of the tiny home groups, but not all of them. And I definitely could have used the space better if I had 62 tiles just laid out as a rectangle, but obviously because I was going for this like unique shape, The interior is shaped kind of weird as well, but I end up putting quite a bit in here for the vampires to do. It really helps that vampires don't need a kitchen, because they can eat food when they first change, but they don't need to, and then as they progress along in their vampireness, they actually can end up getting the vampire weakness where they just can't eat human food whatsoever. So it would make no sense for them to have a kitchen in here, because obviously they're already living in a mausoleum, like they're not just having tummies over for tea or whatever, because they'd be very suspicious when they get there. Why do you guys just have coffins in your living room and no actual bedroom? Why are you living here? So this is like not a hangout spot, but there is a lot of seating area in here actually. Like you can probably sit like 6 Sims in here at once, so maybe you could befriend other vampires or something. They could have them over for drinks or plasma food or whatever they want to do. The coffin room is probably my favorite. I got this idea of having like the curtains there. So like you can't actually close the curtains in The Sims, but like if it was real life, which obviously it's not because it's a vampire house, sadly, you could just like pull the curtains shut while you're in there hibernating, so if someone did stumble in there, they maybe like go and see what's going on right away, which would help them keep their cover. I love the bathroom in here. Technically the vampires in The Sims don't use toilets, but I didn't want to just build a bathroom without a toilet because that's weird, but I use the bathtub as the focal point because I like the old style bathtubs. I think they're so cool and pretty and fun. I'm obsessed with how the bathroom turned out. I would love to live in like an old Victorian house with like an updated kitchen because I love like new kitchens, but then like everything else just kind of like as it was. And like I love when there's like bathrooms where it's like some of the original fixtures are there, like the like old tubs with like they've like updated some things around it, like maybe there's like a new cabinet or maybe like updated like backsplash in the shower or whatever. Like I love that like blend where you get like a historic home and you update some things in it, but you also keep like a lot of just like the original things in there. I think it looks so cool. So the rest of the space I kind of used to make this sort of like foyer and like living room office space. The foyer has a lot to do, and then this like office space has tons to do as well. Actually, not there's like 2 things to do in here. I'm being dramatic, but it takes me forever to decide what desk to use. But this is a desk, computer, and then I end up putting the TV in here as well. And I did play test everything, so even though it's like kind of cramped because it is like a tiny home and it's like a weird shape, so there's only 3 tiles wide in here. You can use everything. You can sit there. You can watch the TV that I end up putting in there. You can the desk, and end up putting four seats in here and then 2 out in the foyer as well. So there really is like a lot of space for them to sit and read. They don't necessarily have to interact with each other, but hopefully if they're living in these tight quarters, they do get along with each other. Or you could technically just have one vampire living in here as well, but I think that'd be really lonely for them. But I guess being a vampire is just cute, I guess. Don't really know. But yeah, here's the shelf and the TV, which takes a while to get situated, but it works, and that's all that matters. It's like kind of a crappy TV, but I figured you could like upgrade it or whatever. I think I could have just put like a flat screen TV on the wall, but I feel like that fit the aesthetic really well, so I didn't do that. So here's little entryway chairs. I ended up deciding on these ones that are technically dining room chairs, I think, but I feel like they fit the vibe very well. And I added easels. So there's like stuff that they can do, like actually make money just demon souls that are living here. Like you can obviously write it on a computer, they can paint, they can play the organ, which I don't think that makes any money. Like I could have just put a piano in there because that's a way more normal skill for them to work on, but like it's a vampire house, there has to be an organ. There's these chess tables, they can play chess together, build their logic skill, all that sort of stuff. I didn't put a garden or ranger box outside because I felt like that's a weird, like rather do a ranger box at a cemetery, but you could totally put one out in back if you wanted them to look on like gardening scale as well. And I didn't add like a whole lot of decorations or anything because it's a stone wall, and I didn't have like pictures hanging on the wall or whatever. I did do this like carpet in the coffin room. I added like a bunch of candles in there, so it's a really fun little candle vibe. Obviously, you would actually put candles next to that in real life because you know candles next to curtains. That's a major fire hazard, and thankfully these are Sims candles, which don't like burn down like that. Let's see. Did I put anything else in here? I wish it tasted like the one that fits the whole vibe a little more. But I love how the interior turned out. I think it really is like a nice little creepy like mouse house for these vampires to hang out. And I moved the fixture to the side a little bit to make room for the actual cemetery portion of the property because that's the cover story. And I think I ended up like raising the roof a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, I thought it looked better aesthetically. It was a little too short before. Makes it more grand stone mosaic. I don't really like the roof pattern. There wasn't one that like worked super well for it. Is it just like a plain stone slab? All the other options were like shingles. I'm like, honestly, not gonna have shingles on this like grand stone building, but with it. It was kind of like the ground like a little uneven around where the cemetery is because it's like not the most well maintained cemetery. It's really overgrown. I spent a lot of time placing the tombstones. It's hard to like place stuff like this in the Sims sometimes because like in real life they'd be all like evenly spaced, but then really like evenly spaced stuff in the Sims it ends up like really layered sometimes. It's just like too geometric and symmetrical and perfect because like in real life like all the tombstones would be just like slightly different or very evenly spaced out. I feel like I did an okay job in the end. I think it's a pretty convincing cemetery. I make it like very overgrown, creepy, and I use all these creepy trees and stuff. Like it's not really a place like the neighborhood can totally walk by and tell like scary stories about it, but like we can't really like get in because there's a gate and everything's like locked off, and maybe they like have the pets on Halloween or whatever, and it's like a day that if you can stay in the cemetery for an hour on Halloween or whatever, something happens to you. I don't know. I never had any like scary stories like that about my hometown. At least I know of, maybe other kids maybe stuff like that. But it's Forgotten Hollow, so the whole thing is kind of creepy. I don't know if there's any like normal families that would actually live there. In the game there definitely are, but like if this is a place in real life, like why would you move to a place called Forgotten Hollow where the sun doesn't shine and all your neighbors are weirdos that don't go out in the daytime? Like why would you do that whatsoever? Yeah, I was adding the overgrowth for the tombstones. I did put flowers down on a couple of them, like maybe a few people who could visit their relatives once in a while, but I don't really want this to be a really highly trafficked area because it's not like a main property. Make the grass a little bit overgrown or whatever. Where the tombstones are, I have this path kind of going along the front of the property. I think that's kind of it. I did that. Let's see what else do I do. I changed the mailbox, I think, because the mailbox is the default mailbox is so ugly. Oh yeah, and I have these like cute little candy benches. So like it's a good front. Oh, and I have these plasma fruits that you could totally remove if you like just have plasma fruits there for them, but like I don't know, I hate when you start the game and you just have to order like 100 plasma packs from your tires. I think it's just so much easier to just have the fruits on the property, and that is it. I'm going to go ahead and make a screenshot so you can see everything turned out. I really like how this turned out, and this was fun for you guys to watch. I can definitely do more video game videos while I'm socially isolating because that's kind of all I've been doing is playing video games. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you are all safe wherever you are, and hopefully I'm seeing you in my next video. Bye guys!